Why?
No. You have to line this up with one of the lines.
Yes, I know. Look.
Okay.
If I do this, it's gonna be going towards the obtuse area.
Okay, but look, there's not an obtuse area and an acute area. They're both, because they know you're gonna need to go different ways. So you have to look for the numbers, and you can already see. Can you tell if it's under a right angle or over a right angle?
What?
Can you tell if it's smaller or bigger than 90 degrees?
Yes.
And then that will tell you which one it is. So if you lay it here, and then if you get an obtuse number, you know it's not right. So because it's going to give two numbers here. See that?
Oh, it's going to give two numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the other side, this would be 70, so 70. And then this is acute. Okay, I understand why. This is right because it just turn right.
I like it.
And this is obtuse. Is this obtuse? It's big. I don't know why, but that sounds like something big. It's obtuse. It's obtuse. And acute it's a cute little. It's a cute little
one.
It's a cute little number. It's actually by you because
of the handwriting?
Yeah.
Not much. Our handwriting is pretty similar.
Let me try to do it. I'm completely trying to copy off you. There's you can just tell that mine is more sloppy and there's just like something about it.
They're still pretty similar though.
And also your lines are a lot more thicker. I like to actually like put pressure, not like big pressure, but I like to like actually like put pressure.
Okay, so I had to record this video because we were blowing through geometry. My son just got introduced to geometry. And like very early on, and we were just working through a brain quest book. So it's like really, there's a very short amount of pages for every subject. It's just going to be like little highlights. And we had started having conversations about geometry and line segments and angles and all that. And we'd already just had these conversations. And then he got a new geometry book that was more thorough. And he's just like blowing through it. And like some of the stuff we haven't done lessons on. And we don't generally do a formal lesson anyways. We kind of do things a little differently. I don't have time to go into that. But he was just figuring out what these words meant by the context and then blowing through the lesson. And so my point of making this video is it's like one of those like moments as an unschooler. Like I'm just going to go ahead and start calling myself that because I try to avoid that word. But I don't know what else to call it. I'm not technically an unschooler because I force school, but we don't have any kind of pattern or a curriculum that we follow as far as from like grade to grade or throughout the year. We do our own thing. So what I'm saying is, or the point of this video is that children are taught this way. Like we start this grade of math and we're going to continue to do math every single year and it's going to build upon itself. And then we have it in our head that is the only way they're going to get to a certain level of math. If they haven't done these years, then they won't be able to do math on a higher level. So that's not true. It kind of makes me crazy that like people can't break out of this thinking, but this is evidence of that. And I got introduced to this idea with reading. So, and it's kind of different, but it tells you how a child's brain can work versus how the school system forces it to work. So a child can learn to read at 3, 4, how old do we do it now? We do pre-K. I'd say they're probably learning to read in kindergarten, starting to. at this point, which is crazy to me that we're forcing kids to learn to read that early, but whatever. And then they continue to learn how to read incrementally, where it's going to be very small words, it's going to be bigger words. But how unschoolers do it is they don't force reading. They wait for their child to pick up the interest, which I didn't quite do it that way anyways. For one thing, he had to go to school for a little while because of our circumstances. And then for another thing, at some point at a certain age, I was like, you need to start. And it was after I knew he could. I knew he had picked up enough in school to where I was like, you can figure out what that says. So go ahead and do it yourself. I'm not going to do it for you anymore. So he had to figure out how to read. But, sorry if I'm going all over the place. I'm really excited. It's just one of those moments where it's like, yes, I knew it would work. So, unschoolers, they won't enforce reading. And then there's, case after case where a child will start reading at 12 and then they're reading chapter books, like, very advanced chapter books, like really quickly. They don't have to start at 3-letter words and then work their way up. They just are like, okay, now I'm gonna read, and then they just figure out how to read as complicated as materials they want to. So this is what's happened with math. And Oliver's always had an interest in math. Whenever he was probably 4, he started asking me how to multiply large numbers, and he was more interested in how it worked, like 10,000, how many times would 10 go into, or like 100 go into 10,000. He just wanted to understand like how the numbers work together. And then over the years, he just naturally takes to math. It just isn't very complicated for him, and he prefers to do it in his head. He doesn't want to do it on a piece of paper. And then as we've picked up geometry, I don't have to teach it to him. He just looks at it, reads the instructions quickly, and is like, I get it. He didn't need an education to build up to geometry. So I'm just making this video. I'm glad it's short, okay. Just as a reminder, and to homeschool parent, or like unschooling and homeschool parents that don't stick to a certain grade level, that it's absolutely not necessary. And for us, we're gonna do high school probably more vigorously. Like that's whenever he'll get a more formal education. But up to this point, I don't feel like it's necessary, and I feel like it's been important for him to have his brain space available to him for creative endeavors and life skills and relationships and emotions and those things that are actually important. So, yeah, and then anybody that's not familiar with these ideas, that kids don't have to follow a certain grade pace. This is just kind of evidence that that's a myth. Like, our school system is set up a certain way, but that doesn't mean that that's the best way, or that it has to be that way our kids will learn. So that's all I have. And now it's time for bed. Good night.